Welcome back to another review by Mega Train Lover. Today we're having a look at the second of 5 models which I got at the London Festival of Railway Modelling. Today we're having a look at a Bachmann model, as you can see, and this just says crab. Yeah. Basically, in full detail, this is an LMS Hughes crab, also known as the, I think it was known as the Hughes Class 5MT. Yeah, but basically in layman's terms, this is an LMS Hughes crab. Now, as you can see, the locomotive is not in the box. I've taken it out, I've DCC'd it, and yeah, yeah, you'll see what it's like. Yeah. If we turn to the side, you can see it says LMS crab number 42765. It's in British Railways line black with the early emblem. And if we turn to the back, you can see you get quite a bit of information about the class if you'd like to pause and read. There you go. Now, the Hughes crab, they were built, as their name suggests, these were built to the design of George Hughes for the LMS, and in total there were 245 examples built between 1926 and 1932. 70 examples were built at Horwich Works, whilst the remaining 175 examples were built at Crewe Works, and they were built for mixed traffic. And there were 260s with massive cylinders which were steeply angled, and this was in order to accommodate the locomotives for restricted loading gauges. And all examples passed into British Railways ownership pretty much. And then withdrawals started from 1961, and the very last examples were withdrawn in 1967, which is a year before British Railway steam ended. Now, 3 examples have been preserved. One of them is at the National Railway Museum, which I believe is the first of the class, and it was original number was 13,000, later it became 2,700, and then it became 42700 under British Railway. So that one's preserved at the National Railway Museum. The second one preserved is number 42765, which is actually the one I've got. This one is preserved at the East Lancashire Railway, although it's currently withdrawn for overhaul. And I don't know if it will, don't know when it will return, but it is currently undergoing an overhaul. The third one is number 42859, which, yeah, I mean, it was rescued from Barry Scrapyard, but I mean, what's happened to it? It's a bit tragic, and it's a bit of a long story, but it does involve police and court orders and stuff. I mean, you can look it up, basically what happened to that engine, but yeah, I mean, it's a bit complicated to get into, but yeah, but in all essence, the third one technically isn't really preserved, unfortunately. So 2 examples have been completely preserved, basically. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put the box to one side, and we'll have a look at the locomotive, which is right here. Now, I'll just quickly separate the tender, because the tender can be uncoupled using the drawbar, and there's no wires connecting it. Let me just quickly, yeah, without breaking, preferably without breaking. Yeah, there we go. So tender, I'll just put here, and here is the engine. Wow. Wow. What can I say? Stunning. Really, really stunning. Firstly, these lights, some of the detail I've fitted, well, this brake pipe I've fitted, and I've also fitted it on the tender. These lights I've secured myself using black tack. But yeah, looks really, really nice. You get sprung buffers on the front there. So there's the front of the loco, number 42765. This is the preserved example on the East Lancashire Railway. And this is what it means by the huge angled cylinders, as you can see. and this was done in order to clear the platforms, because on some lines the loading gauge was a bit restricted, so having the cylinders angled this much basically meant that they could run anywhere on the network. These were, I think they were, well, these are classified as 6P and, sorry, what's it? Yeah, 6P 5F, so they were more powerful on passenger trains. So they were class 6 on passenger trains, but they were a class 5 on freight. Most of the time though, these were seen on freight. I mean, if you look at it, it does kind of look like a freight engine. I don't know if it's just me, but yeah. But of course, it has lined British Railways black, which suggests that this is a mixed traffic engine. Just look at the wheels and the valve gear; they look really, really nice. You get separately fitted handrails running along both sides of the locomotive, and you even get the injector pipes just running along here. You get the safety valve and the whistle, safety valves, and the whistle, which look really, really nice. Turned it over side. I do find this a bit unusual. Of course, it is prototypical, but the way the handrail just stops dead there, and then it carries on at a slightly lower level. I do find that a bit unusual, because you don't see that on other locomotives. But yeah, it's quite an interesting design. But of course, that is needed because, as you can see, the running board does dip down again because of the huge cylinders. So yeah. Let's look at the cab. Here it is. Not the most detailed cab in the world. There are more detailed cabs, but this one, considering the age of the model, it is a few years old now. That is a really nice cab. You get the reverse from the left. The regulator is rather unusually positioned. I don't know if it was like that on the real engine, but the regulator handle is positioned a bit too far for the driver to reach from the seated position. Maybe it's like that. I'm not 100% familiar with the real LMS crab. Maybe it's like that. I mean, if anyone has worked on 42765 on the East Lancs, do comment below, or if they've seen the cab of it, do let me know if that is how the regulator handle is in the shut position. You can see you get dials there, but they're unpainted. But nonetheless, the cab looks really quite nice. And you get the older style tender connection, which does mean that only the locomotive's wheels pick up. But the good thing is that the driving wheels are, well, I mean the driving wheels, because the bogie wheels here, they don't pick up. But the driving wheels are quite evenly spaced out, so there shouldn't be any problems with the picking up of current from the track, hopefully. Yeah. I'm not saying anything. I don't want to spoil the rest of the review. But at the same time, I don't want to, kind of jinx it and then the locomotive starts. I mean, I have run this. I won't say how it is because then I'll spoil the video. But yeah. But yeah, I do feel that the driving wheels, they do provide sufficient picking up of current. But yeah. Anyway, so that's all on the engine. Let's have a look at the tender, which, as you can see, is a Fowler tender. This coal rail on top, this one is you have to fit yourself. I haven't secured it, so if it does fall off or if it does move, that's why. I don't want to super glue it because that will just leave huge glue marks everywhere. So I've kind of like pressure fitted it in there. And the brake pipe on the back I fitted myself. You get sprung buffers, and you get NEM couplings on both the front and rear of the locomotive, but I have removed it from the front because it's not really needed. There's the front. You get the handbrake and the handle for the water scoop, which the water scoop itself is it there? No, it's not. That is weird. That is very unusual. The water scoop is not there. Weirdly, there are holes for what seems to be a speaker, which is a bit unusual because the locomotive doesn't have any wires running into the tender. I mean, I suppose you can modify this to have to have a speaker, and then obviously you put the speaker in the tender where there's a lot more room. Because believe me, there isn't a lot of room in the locomotive. In fact, in order to accommodate the DCC decoder, I've actually had to remove a weight from the weight from the locomotive inside. I had to remove it in order to accommodate the DCC decoder. So yeah, I mean but the good thing is that the running board is made of die cast, so it doesn't reduce the weight of the locomotive by too much, and it still can pull quite a fair amount. But yeah, the clearance inside is not very good for DCC. You hardly get any coal, which obviously, yeah, at this level of coal, I don't think the engine would be able to go out of the shed. So, but of course you can add coal to it, which I might do in the future. But yeah, it's a really nice tender. It does have a bit of weight to it, which is good because that means it'll keep on the track. But yeah, overall, very impressed with how the model looks. Obviously a bit outdated, but yeah, for the money I paid for this, I think it's really good value. Anyway, let's see how she performs. So here we have the Bachmann LMS Crab on the track. What we're going to do is going to select its number and watch it go. And there she goes. Wow. So a little bit of noise from the motor, but that's fine. Wow, very nice runner. Very smooth start as well. Yeah. Brilliant. Can't complain about the performance, obviously. Let's get a few shots of her passing. So yeah, very nice model, very nice runner. The long wheelbase definitely helps the fact that it doesn't have any trouble picking up current, so goes over the dead spots on the points very easily. Yeah, very impressed. So just to conclude this video, overall I'm really happy with this model for the price I paid for it. Would I have paid more than what I did? Maybe, if it was maybe about £5 or £10 more maybe. Anything more I would have given it a second thought. Because the detail on it is not fully up to modern standards, but nonetheless it looks a really quality model and it performs really well. I do highly recommend it no matter what livery you get. This is a really nice model. Anyway, thanks so much for watching and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.